In 2021, every major label in London was chasing Central Cee with suitcase-sized checks. Universal, Sony, Warner, they all wanted a piece of the Wild West rapper. But Cench, he walked away to sell his own tracksuits. Today, he's one of the highest paid independent artists in the UK. No label, no middleman. Welcome back to The Money Move. This is the Central Cee playbook. Let's get into it. Money move number 1, the Snippet Trap. Most people think going viral is a lottery win. Cross your fingers and hope the algorithm gods are feeling merciful. But for Central Cee, luck has nothing to do with it. He doesn't wait to go viral, he bulletproofs it. Cench doesn't drop songs, he drops traps. He'll post a 15-second clip of a catchy bar, usually something controversial enough to make your auntie write a Facebook post, and then he just waits. He isn't looking for likes from your nan, he's engineering user-generated content. And the receipts back it up. Doja, released July 2022, has racked up over 918 million streams on Spotify alone. That song didn't have a label machine behind it. It had TikTok and a fan base that did the work for him. By the end of 2022, Central Cee became the first British rapper in history to hit 1 billion Spotify streams in a single year. He writes lines specifically designed to start a fight in the comments. Whether you're calling him a genius or calling for him to be canceled, you're still typing. And every angry comment is just another signal to the algorithm to show his face to 1 million more people. Hate watching pays the mortgage too. While Universal is spending £100,000 on billboards, which literally nobody under 45 looks at unless they're stuck in traffic, Central Cee spent exactly £0. That's not just music, that's efficiency. He turned the roadman aesthetic into a global export by treating TikTok like a free 24/7 commercial. But here's the kicker. He isn't just selling MP3s. He's using those songs to build a tracksuit empire that's currently out-hustling brands that have been around since the 90s. Money move number 2, the drop culture goldmine. Most rappers see merch as an afterthought. A scratchy Gildan t-shirt with a blurry album cover that you buy for £30 and eventually use to wash your car. But Central Cee? He isn't a t-shirt salesman. He's a scarcity architect. He launched Cineworld in 2023. He uses drop culture, a psychological hack that triggers a literal fight or flight response in 19-year-olds with a Monzo card. If you aren't there at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, you aren't getting the tracksuit, period. And here's where it gets clever. Because he limits the supply, the resale value on StockX and Depop goes through the roof. He's created a secondary market where fans are literally doing his marketing for him just to brag about owning a piece. It's basically Bitcoin you can wear. And here's the genius part. He uses his music videos as multi-million-pound commercials. He isn't paying for ITV ad slots. He's getting 150 million people to volunteer to watch a 3-minute advert for his clothing brand. That is a level of vertical integration that would make a Harvard business professor weep. Let's look at the math. To make £80 on Spotify, Central Cee needs about 25,000 streams. To make £80 on a Cineworld tracksuit, he needs 1 customer. His music isn't just art, it's a loss leader. The free sample that gets you in the door, so he can sell you the high-margin lifestyle brand on the way out. While other rappers are begging labels for a bigger marketing budget, Cench is literally printing his own money on 100% cotton. But to pull this off, he had to do something most artists wouldn't dare. He had to turn down the big 3. Money move number 3, the ownership arbitrage. In 2021, the rumors were everywhere. Central Cee was about to sign a massive deal. Universal wanted him, Sony wanted him, Warner wanted him. The industry was ready for the big announcement. And then, silence. He stayed independent. Why? Because Cench knows how to use a calculator. Let's do some bro math. If a major label gives you a £2 million advance, you feel like a king. Until you realize that money is a loan. You have to pay back every penny from your 20% cut. To clear that debt, you need to generate £10 million in revenue. Essentially, you're an employee in a fancy tracksuit. So when Central Cee finally did sign in June 2023, it wasn't a traditional record deal. It was a joint venture with Columbia Records, part of Sony Music UK. The deal was led by Columbia's Executive Vice President, Boo Thiam, and Central Cee's manager, Bello. The financial terms weren't disclosed publicly, but the structure tells you everything you need to know. He keeps the masters, he keeps the copyright, and most importantly, he keeps the lion's share of the royalties. He's not waiting for a 20% crumb, he's taking the whole bakery. And the proof is in the numbers. Sprinter with Dave, released June 2023, hit #1 on the UK singles chart and stayed there for 10 consecutive weeks, the longest-running #1 rap song in UK history. By December 2023, it had 500 million Spotify streams. By November 2025, it crossed 1 billion, becoming the first UK rap song ever to enter Spotify's Billions Club. On a standard major label deal, Cench and Dave might have seen a nice bonus check. As joint venture artists owning their masters, they were clearing hundreds of thousands of pounds a week in pure streaming royalties. No middleman, no marketing recoupment, no office overhead fees. He's his own CEO, his own marketing director, and his own A&R. He didn't turn down the big three because he was crazy. He turned them down because he could see exactly what the maths would say. He realized that in the digital age, a label is just a bank that charges 80% interest. But there was one final boss he had to beat: America. Money move #4, the Trojan horse strategy. For decades, the US market was the final boss for UK rappers. To crack it, you usually had to sign a massive US deal, fly to Atlanta, and beg for a Drake feature or a radio slot in Power 105.1. But Central Cee didn't ask for a seat at the table. He just hacked the guest list. Look at his entry point. He didn't start with a $500,000 radio campaign. He started with Cole Bennett and Lyrical Lemonade. By getting the most influential music video director in Gen Z history to film Doja, he instantly inherited a 20 million strong US audience. It was a hostile takeover, disguised as a music video. Then in July 2023, Drake, the biggest rapper on the planet, personally chose Central Cee for his On the Radar freestyle. That freestyle was released commercially and cracked the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at #80. Central Cee's first ever Hot 100 entry, and it wasn't even his own song. And in January 2025, the numbers confirmed everything. His debut studio album, Can't Rush Greatness, released through CC4L and Columbia, debuted at #1 in the UK. #1 in Germany, the Netherlands, Ireland, Belgium, Norway, and New Zealand. And #9 on the US Billboard 200, making him the first UK rapper in history to break into the Billboard Top 10. Because he's independent, he didn't need a global marketing team to approve his travel. He flew to New York, did a freestyle that broke the internet, and was back in London before the major label execs had finished their morning coffee. Speed is his greatest weapon. So, what is the Central Cee lesson? It's simple. Don't build a career, build a system. Music is just the top of the funnel. The real money is in the ownership, the tracksuits, and the direct connection to his fans. He turned his life into a vertically integrated media company that just happens to make drill music. A kid from Shepherd's Bush with estimated earnings between $6 and $12 million, who never signed away his masters, never chased a radio hit, and became the first UK rapper to top the US Billboard Top 10. He proved that you don't need a label to be a superstar. You just need a smartphone, a high-margin product, and the guts to say no to the golden handcuffs of the first label deal that comes your way. And if a kid from Shepherd's Bush, with no label, no cosign, and no industry connections, can build a multi-million-pound empire on his own terms, then the only real question is, what's your excuse? And that's the Central Cee blueprint. Ownership isn't just a flex, it's a business model. If this breakdown opened your eyes, go check out how Little Simz built her own million-pound independent empire with zero label interference and 80% of every penny going straight into her pocket. That video is linked right here. And next, we're switching series. Because on Rise and Fall, we're covering one of the most talented and most turbulent stories in Latin music history. A man who went from the streets of Puerto Rico to global superstardom and then watched it nearly all collapse around him. It's Anuel AA. Trust me, you do not want to miss that one. Hit subscribe so it's waiting for you. See you next time.
It's faded, baby.
Perfect.